Big afternoon here. We're going to be talking about quite a few different stocks as usual.
Market has just been in range. ASML is going nowhere. Every single dip is a buy this year. Nvidia's earnings, it'll be an important ER.
Hey, Claude, be real with me. What is the next product you're rolling out? What should I go short within the next 30 days that I can make some money?
It is pretty wild.
Also, always compare with other prediction markets just to see where the alpha is.
I would not short Bitcoin. When it runs, it does that huge momentum swing.
Okay, a millionaire. I'm a young money millionaire.
Big afternoon here. Here he is, the man himself. Let's get him in the middle. Love it. How are we feeling today, man? We've got 2 feet of snow out east right now, and I see photos. You're in sunny Arizona, but how are you feeling?
Oh, it is amazing. I've been sitting outside and working, so it's like really, really nice.
I love it. I love it. Well, we got a stacked lineup here today. We're going to be talking about quite a few different stocks as usual. But before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Arch Lending. So you did the hard part. You stacked. You didn't panic sell, but real life still happens. Taxes, new opportunities, big purchase. Selling Bitcoin just feels wrong. And that's where Arch comes in. Arch lets you borrow against your Bitcoin instead of selling it. You borrow what you need, repay anytime, and only pay interest on what you use, all without triggering a tax event. And the best part, the Bitcoin stays yours. No rehypothecation. Your collateral is never lent out. It's held in a qualified, insured bankruptcy remote custody with full transparency. Check them out, archlending.com. That's ARCH lending.com/daily stack, and we'll give you 1% off lowest rates. How about that, Sniper?
That's good.
That is good. Let's get rocking, dude. What are you seeing before we dive into ARM Holdings? We'll touch on CoreWeave, SanDisk, obviously touch on Bitcoin here at the end, and I did bring another mini monster that I'll talk about here at the end.
I actually love it.
So, what are you seeing from a macro perspective? Markets have been.
We have a State of the Union coming up, and I was kind of excited about what SanDisk would announce today, but then that event was a complete dud. I mean, it was so bad, man. Like after watching, Google I/O, after watching Apple presentations and Tesla presentations, oh my goodness, I couldn't even bear it for a minute. That's also what defines a good company versus a mediocre one also, I feel. So it is what it is, yeah.
They just had a short too from Citron. I'm looking here on StockTwits.
They did get a short from Citron. I mean, I call it shit run because you remember Citron's report about Nvidia back in 2020, 2021, right? Like they were like, it's a hit or miss for them, but then they are always way off the timeline. I don't know how they make money. I think they were bankrupt at some point. I don't know what happened with them. They're coming back and, they said what they said, but then usually after they post is when the stock usually most stocks actually go up 50-60% after they post their reports. That's something that is a correlation that has happened a lot of times in the past. So.
Very interesting. I remember them in Muddy Waters. Tony got in a big public argument. Tony lost that actually. So for those pounding the table listeners, he did lose that bet, unfortunately.
What was the bet?
It was what was it for? It was the MRI company. Now I'm blanking on their name. But I actually called them out. What was it?
NNOX.
Yeah, Nanox, of course.
Yeah.
So, NNOX sounded really cool. It had a very interesting background. Basically, cut the cost of MRIs significantly. Mm-hmm. But I did remember calling them out because I saw in the video, like the CEO is like whispering to the guy what to say, and I was like, something feels off here. And so I ended up selling it. I tweeted about it, and I was like, I'm no longer in this one. But very fun days back in the day. But SanDisk, I mean, crazy numbers on the year, or even the past 1,600%. 1,100, 1,200% the past year. So you think this thing's gonna still run? You just mentioned after the Citron notes they tend to climb, but
let me share my screen, show you what I'm seeing.
Let me pop that up for you.
It was also my trade area for this week. So I think you see my screen. So
Right.
okay, so SNDK, it did that little consolidation for about 2 weeks, I guess, 1, 2, 3, yeah, about 2 to 2.5 weeks, and then finally broke out on Friday last week, showed a lot of relative strength, and then it climbed yesterday, did really well, going all the way up to close to 700. Today, the selling has happened. We retested that trend line. You see that trend line clearly holding right now. So until that trend line is like until the I think the both the bottom and the top trend lines both are like kind of intersecting there. So until that 600 kind of breaks down, actually 610 kind of breaks down, I'm not really looking to short this company at all or play puts on it whatsoever. I still think it's a strong stock. Just the options premiums are going to get wagged up because their whole announcement and everything was kind of dud. So I think I was watching 150 points out. Premiums were pricing at around 2.5 to $3. So kind of weird for that big of a premium. I thought there would be a massive pump on it, but then we did get that flush towards that 616 and still holding the trend line. I'm not looking for puts at all unless and until 600 is 605 is broken. Right now, I think that like the Citron report is just stupid, and I wouldn't short the stock.
You mentioned the State of the Union, not to cut you off here from talking the stocks, but that will hit every stock. Typically, anytime Trump opens his mouth, things happen. So, what's the rumor mill going on Twitter? I haven't been on all day. People thinking what he's touching on Iran.
So one of the major aspects that Trump will be touching on today is the energy supply or energy deals for data centers. That's going to be the biggest agenda that Trump is going to touch on. I think there was this was been on and off the wire for about a week now, but today I think Politico also reported it like an hour back or something. I'm not 100% sure, but they did report it recently.
We had follow NKLR, so very small nuclear startup, and they were up 10% today, or 9.3%.
Yeah.
So Terra Innovatum Global, I'm guessing just basically pure on that news of like betting that they're going to be part of that data center, energy production. They're early on. I don't think they've actually have a working reactor out. So that's where people are like high upside, but I think very risky.
I usually like Oklo, one of the best names in that sector, in the nuclear reactor hardware sector, because they also have like a backlog with DOE. So I mean a signed contract with the DOE. So I just feel that like they are a better match to play with any other company out there.
Well, for what it's worth, when we interviewed Eric Trump now 6 months ago or so. But his whole thing was, we are not going to lose the energy war and we're not going to lose the AI war. So can't imagine he's going to say anything negative about continuing to build in that space. We shall see. But which ARM we wanted to touch on as well. So this is a new
before
one.
I hop into ARM, I definitely want to touch on another one, which is ASML. This is something that I posted a trade idea about an hour back or something. When it was retesting this, but making new all-time highs, and this is something that I keep telling people all the time. ASML, if there is TSM that's hitting all-time highs and they have to hit their production numbers and their goals, ASML is going nowhere, and ASML is the only way TSM can scale for that production or whatever that is to meet the numbers and the demand. So this stock, I think every single dip is a buy this year, and I definitely think it's a $2,000+ stock, and I think we are also closing up on the all-time highs. This was the earnings candle. We opened at 1493, 1494, and then we dipped off. Then we created that wedge, broke out. about 2 weeks back or something. I think this was the trade idea for the week for me, and then it ran a little bit, but then it started flagging again. And this last week again it started breaking out. And today we are going to see a significant close because we are closing above the earnings gap up or earnings number, which is very important also because it's a trader's mentality where they are like, okay, we accept the stock is going to go higher and is valued higher, and this also creates that little bit of a FOMO push towards that 1555 zone in a very short term. So this is one stock that I'm looking out for the rest of the week, especially going to Nvidia's earnings. Nvidia's earnings also, like, I'm seeing a lot of bullish flow also with a few hedges on the SMH space, but mostly the flow is very bullish on Nvidia as well. So again, Nvidia, if you look at the chart, it's like been flagging for like 4 or 5 months now. So it'll be an important ER this week.
Yeah, AMSL, they're not like the quote sexiest stock. Retailers aren't buying them themselves, right? And so, but they do have a formal, basically monopoly, right?
They are the bottleneck for the chip demand, literally.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, every single fab, everything kind of goes through them. Their machines make every single thing. So yeah, I agree. I like that one as well. You think to 2000?
2000 this year, it's a very conservative target is how I feel on ASML.
Along the same lines, let's go to ARM next then. Similar field.
I think we talked about this about 3 to 4 weeks back on the show. Nice little breakout, retest, and then we are like flagging around this area now. I think 135, once that 135 level kind of breaks, we are seeing 143 to 150 come up very, very fast. And this is one of the stock that I'm looking for on Nvidia's earnings as well, because of how Nvidia, I know Nvidia exited out of their position on ARM, but this is one stock that I'm like really interested in seeing what it does on good Nvidia numbers.
We got to talk AMD then as well. Big news today with Meta. I think it was today or yesterday.
Today.
I never know what day it is anymore. But I saw that earlier this morning. 6 gigawatt AI chip deal estimated between 60 and 100 billion, I believe, over the next 5 years here. So they're up 11%, I think, today.
Today, 9%. They were up almost 11% at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Any thoughts on them? They're kind of the Nvidia's little brother here, but quickly catching up from an opportunity cost perspective, you think, or?
Yeah, I think Meta, based off their spending and all of that, they are definitely making a lot of deals now. Especially they announced that deal with Nvidia last week, and I was like, they made a deal with Nvidia, but does not mean they are not going to spend money with AMD, because they have also. I think it was before Meta's earnings or something. They announced that they are going to go and partner with AMD. At the stock popped and then just dropped off, but that was a very good opportunity last week when they signed the deal with Nvidia and they dropped off AMD. I think AMD again is in that huge consolidation phase too. I think it is one of those stocks that is going to benefit from. Not just one of the stock, the main beneficiary from Nvidia pulling out of the low GPU space, low intensity GPU space. So if AMD can capture all that market share, it's going to be a huge winner on that space.
And I was just looking at CoreWeave here, so they're popping up today. I think 7%. I saw. Yep, 7%. We talked about NBIS last week. Their CoreWeave is somewhat competitive with them.
Yeah.
What are you seeing with CoreWeave? It's been a good one.
I think CoreWeave. There's about $1.7 million bet on the 120 call for 320 on CoreWeave going to its earnings. Obviously, Nvidia has its earnings, and Nvidia also has a huge stake in them, which also gives us a good indication of where things are. I think last week Owl Capital and there were some issues like the last week it dropped off to 89. I think on Friday it was down about 11% or so, and I was like, this is an opportunity, guys. Like this stock at 87 is a steal at this point because of how Nvidia took more stake in them, and they are building out their infrastructure pretty well and all of that, and the demand still for like training models is very, very high given what Anthropic is doing also. So in my opinion, it's definitely going to 120 pretty soon. Obviously, Nvidia's earnings and their earnings itself that come out on Thursday or Friday, I forget, but I think it was on Thursday. It is on Thursday, but I think it's a great company to own per se, for at least for the short term as we see the infrastructure built out happening. And in the short term, I think 120 is the target for me on CoreWeave.
I want to quickly see if I stole the screen. There we go. You did a tweet, or is that today? That was yesterday, which I responded to. You said when OpenAI announced something, stocks were going up. Now with Claude, stocks are going down. We've seen this across the board. Literally billions and billions of dollars just wiped out anytime you come up with something new. Wanted to bring Jody here in the conversation. He perks up anytime there's AI. But what I tweeted back to you is semi a joke, was like, if they're killing off all these companies, their valuations based off their enterprise, what they call the enterprise. And so it is pretty fascinating to see, are they killing their own customers, do you think? You did give me a like on that reply there, but Jodes, what are we looking at here now?
Yeah, it's more supporting evidence for the tweet. This is last week, right? So we saw Thomson Reuters get hit when Anthropic really announced additional legal tools, whether it's plugins or just different training models they put out for that. But then also we look at their beta Anthropic Claude security review, and then suddenly you see these names like CrowdStrike, which shouldn't even be that related to internal code reviews. I feel like with CrowdStrike, you're more looking at external threats. But suddenly, all of these names are dropping about the potential of what could come. So it just keeps piling on. And I think there's been a few funny tweets of just like, a hedge fund manager typing in, hey, Claude, be real with me. What is the next product you're rolling out? What should I go short within the next 30 days so that I can make some money?
That is crazy.
And kid you not, right? Like Claude itself does trading. So
yeah.
It is pretty wild. I will say, my friend has done very well with sports betting through asking Claude. I think I'm 0 for 9, so I'm probably giving that up soon. But he's very encouraging afterwards. He's like, "Next one, you got this, dude." And I was like, I don't know, Claude. What else?
For keeping going, 9 in.
Yeah, well, exactly. Just keep doubling up your bet, and eventually you'll break even. Not financial advice here, by the way. We had one more before Bitcoin that I think we wanted to touch on. Trying to pull that up. We touched on ARM, CoreWeave. So it is Bitcoin's turn, I guess. Let's pull up Bitcoin just because we have to. Obligatory here for our daily stack.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take out Bitcoin too.
I'll pull it up real quick on Predicts, one of our show sponsors. So this is, if you're not looking at calling 15-minute markets, they do have price buckets on where they think the month will end. We got five days left, 73% between 60 and 69. I think this is fair. Almost so surprised it's not a little bit higher, just because it's been trending between 65, 62. I think yesterday it was down in 62 for a little bit, and then it got back up over 63, in the evening. But I think this is actually a decent bet on our end. We haven't taken it yet, or our AI Claude bot agent hasn't taken it yet. But I'm going to tell Claudius to start looking at this one and doing some valuation. We also always compare with other prediction markets just to see where the alpha is, like arbitrage cross-platform. But worth going to check it out on Predicts based on the Lightning Network. So it's fast and easy.
Let's bring to our resident Bitcoin chart expert here, Mr. Sniper.
It's just bear flagging right now. I mean, in the short term of sense, it's still bear flagging. I would not short Bitcoin. I'm not looking for downside plays on Bitcoin. When it runs is when I'll be back in Bitcoin. And when it runs, it does that huge momentum swing of about 15 to 20,000 points in a week. So I'm just watching, doing nothing.
You think Trump mentions anything about Bitcoin on the
I think
call
Trump lost interest in Bitcoin. He has not talked about Bitcoin in ages now.
One thing I saw was Eric Trump deleted all of his crypto tweets, not Bitcoin stuff, but crypto tweets. Someone called that out. So
World Liberty Financial, yeah, they said it was like depegged, and then there's a big panic and FUD, and then he deleted all the tweets, but then later he tweets about it to maybe say, hey, like that was just panic, we're back. I'm not sure what's going on with World Liberty, but I think ABTC is definitely the better business that they have.
Well, if you want to pull up Iova chart, that's going to be my mini monster.
Iowa.
Wait, this is the sound effect I wanted. There it is. Love it. So here's my mini monster, and I will preface this by it is a biotech company, and so anytime if you look at these charts, they go up, they go down, things are crazy. But I got some notes here I wrote down just because I'm not going to be able to remember all of this. But they make TIL therapy, so tumor infiltrating lymphocytes. Basically, they take immune cells from the tumor itself, multiply them into the lab, and then inject them back into you. So stock is up. I think it was up 30% at one point today. Market cap just slightly over $1 billion. Down 50% though over the past year. And so what I find interesting is just I think the cancer segment is just going to continue to explode. We've seen hyper, some of these turbo cancers they're called. After COVID, there's been a significant increase. So I think that's only going to continue to grow. That's not just me saying it. There's stats to back that up. U.S. projected to see over 2 million new cancer diagnoses in 2025 alone. 5,600 per day. They're the only FDA-approved TIL therapy for solid tumors today on Earth. They also have lung cancer. So melanoma today is their big one, but lung cancer is going to come on, and that's going to potentially 7x. A lot of analysts are looking at $9 as their median, $17 as their high. So potential for massive upside. I do own the stock, full transparency. Again, this is a bio, so certainly don't put your life savings into this in any capacity. But they are growing internationally. This was a huge thing. Not only on their earnings did they beat earnings today, but their revenue is going to continue to accelerate as they get into lung cancer, as they expand globally. They just increased their cost 9% today as well. And their costs are coming down as they're building a lot of things in-house. So again, I can't preface this enough. It is a biotech company that could go to zero. But the one that I do want to play with is Iova, and I've been in that for a bit. Definitely something interesting to take a look at. What's the chart showing? It looks like it's
basing. It's been there for some time, and now I'm just looking at the short-term picture here. Finally trying to break out too. There's that curl that's happening on the weekly time frame. The 9 and 20 curl that's happening, and that's the one that popped up today. Looking pretty good. I mean, once that 380, right? Where is it trading at? 380. Yeah, once that 380 level kind of breaks, nothing's stopping it until 7-ish on it. Actually, no. Wait. 550 on it, and after that is 7. So there's quite a bit of move that can happen on it, like you said.
I love it. Well, that's promising for me. Yeah, that's my little mini monster. I got to get the mini monster.
To the not so mini monster, Sniper, you were talking, I think yesterday, the day before, on the one I always talk about, which is Lilly. And you're seeing, I think it's been relatively choppy, I guess, once it got over I think 1123, around that. But From a long time frame, it kind of looks like a flag. What are your thoughts on it? It's tapping at $1 billion or $1 trillion company.
$1 trillion, yeah, biotech. Yeah, they're a great company. Like I think, like you said, it's flagging on the weekly time frame. When you go back onto the daily, also, yeah, it is flagging. So I'm not going to touch it yet in the short term sense, but any kind of dip, I would just buy it every time it dips towards that 900 or so. Like if it's going to break that 1,000, I'll probably sell some CSPs for like 900 puts, buy it up at that point.
Yeah. For the audience too, Lilly has been competitive with Novo Nordisk. You're looking at these different GLP-1 or like weight loss drugs, and it is ripe with FUD. There's always going to be FUD about long-term effects, which are fair. I mean, people need to question what they're putting in their bodies always. But it affects the stock. And I think people are concerned about it. But as you see, you hit a certain level around 1,000 and these dips get bought. Mm-hmm. So don't let yourself as retail get shaken out by a headline when it appears that a lot of these big buyers are still stepping in to buy it. They see as this being a very sticky, long-term, not systemically important to the US, but it seems like there's been favorable regulation of wanting to have this industry supported in the US versus, outsourced to say Novo Nordisk in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think of the obesity levels in this country, right? Like, and I would
get a good market.
Financial advice, not health advice. You got to preface that, but for people that really need it, I think it is interesting. And the daily stack is going to have a new name for the daily stack for our GLP-1 stack that we're using. I'm going to mispronounce it. I call it Retta, but it's Retratrutide. Probably mispronounced that, but that's the big one that a lot of my friends have been talking about recently, and that's a triple G agnostic. So if you thought 1 and 2 agnostics were cool, wait till you see 3 at once. So yeah, they got that's an Indiana company too, where I went. So Eli Lilly is a beast of a company. Yeah. Anything else here? I know we got the State of the Union tonight. Anything else you're taking a look at here, Sniper, to wrap it up?
Just the energy sector, especially the nuclear sector, is something that I'll be looking out for. Obviously, there is also the oil companies that have had great deals that are going on from the Venezuela invasion. Just those. Nothing in particular. The market has just been in range. It's been sitting in range for since October. This year, so it's just there. It's nothing happening. So,
anything affected by what's going on in Mexico? Actually, is my final question here, because I just saw this morning Mexico voted unanimously to allow the U.S. troops to come in there and clean some of that up, but not sure if it's the scale of Venezuela or Iran. So is there any stocks that are uniquely affected, I guess, by what's happening in Mexico? Mostly tourism down there, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like I think airplanes, airlines, and all of that. That's one thing that's going to be affected. But otherwise, I don't trade off those short-term news fluctuations per se. I just don't even they just recover very fast because everybody knows this is like the market will make that fluctuation by the time you get news, it's already done. So I don't trade off that, but airline stocks are getting hit a little bit. Other than that, I don't see any other issue.
Well, that's a fair answer too. You don't want to chase things just to chase. So staying put is a play within itself. Joe, do you want to send us home? What do we got here for tomorrow? We got some good guests coming on. Frank Holmes. We got Abundant Minds.
Yeah. Yes, we have Bo Turner from Abundant Minds. So lives locally here in Oregon. So we're going to dive into someone who's been plugged in the space, put their capital investment, their life into doing Bitcoin mining, he's a private miner. So different economics than public miners, which have been an interesting shift recently. We think we saw one of the miners, I think early on Monday, was selling Bitcoin. Was a bit dear. BitDeer was selling Bitcoin in order to buy land, I think to buy, do another like data center build out, which is interesting. So obviously raised alarm flags. We also talked to Frank Holmes, Hive Digital. He's been doing HPC a little longer than a lot of people. I haven't looked at the stock from a trading perspective, but
that's 4% today.
What is it?
It's up 4%, probably in anticipation of coming on the podcast tomorrow. But
yeah, and then
he's super interesting. He was an old gold bug too, so he's been in the space for quite some time, and they're doing some really interesting things over with water and hydro energy as well. So different take from a lot of folks. So super excited. And what time is the State of the Union tonight? I gotta make sure I sit there and watch.
I have no idea. I never watched it.
State of the Union. All right, we're gonna make everyone just Google that unless I can find it quick.
I think it's 7 EST.
Yeah, it's usually around 7 or 8. So very cool. Well,
the last one I'll mention is Check on Predicts. I want to see if there's any State of the Union markets. If not,
should we live trade that tonight?
Yeah, we should start one. We should market make on something that we think he'll mention. I think it's always fun.
No, they're kind of fun. The guys that will pull it up and in like real time be like, is he going to say Iran? Is he going to say this or that? So
yeah, talk about nuclear, talk about Greenland and Iran, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at that. Check out the Predicts market. If you're a Bitcoiner, it's like all the other prediction markets, but all Bitcoin, which is very fun. So very cool. Thanks for coming on, Sniper. We'll be back on Tuesday next week. And everyone stay tuned, stay safe, and we'll come up with a cooler outro from now on.
Cool.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah.